Hi, my name's Bren. We have a meridian-focused yin yoga class today. This meridian-style yoga is the intersection between yin yoga and traditional Chinese medicine. You won't need any special yoga props in order to participate, but a folded blanket like this one or a pillow could be a really versatile, helpful prop. These meridian-focused yoga classes are the intersection between yin yoga and traditional Chinese medicine. And in that philosophy, there are 5 seasons throughout the year: spring, summer, harvest or late summer, autumn, and winter. And this harvest season or late summer time of year acts as a transition point between the most yang time of year, summer being bright, hot, loud, active, and transitioning into more of a yin time of year in autumn and winter, where we are slower, cooler, darker, more inward focused. The meridians that relate to late summer run through the inner legs, top of the thighs, hip crease, and abdomen and side body. So we'll find some yin yoga postures that can stretch and activate those areas of the body. In our yin yoga practice today, we'll hold each posture for about 2 minutes each. I will give you some guidance coming in and out of each pose and some alternatives or some ways to go a little deeper. Otherwise, I'll leave you some time in silence to practice on your own. You're coming back to center, coming back from distraction. Since we are focusing on this transition from summer towards autumn, or from yang time of year towards yin time of year, I'd like to begin our practice with a bit more yang, a bit of an active posture. So that could be, I have 2 options for you. That could be malasana, yogi squat, or a variation of happy baby. I'll show you each and then I'll start counting up for our 2-minute hold time. So your malasana yogi squat might look like this: crouching or squatting really low, knees wide, heels in, toes out. See if you can keep kind of a long spine rather than rounding forwards. And you might notice here that your heels are lifted up off of the mat. That's okay. If you had that folded blanket, you can place that like a little ramp beneath lifted heels. Another option for this same sort of hip opening deep squat posture is a variation of happy baby that you would do up against the wall. So if you have some wall space available, you could find sort of a malasana squat up against the wall, laying down on the floor, feet wide, knees wide. And this could be perhaps a bit more of a passive way to enter that same shape with the body. So I'll give you a moment to decide which one of those options you'd like to try out. You're definitely welcome to try something out and change your mind. I'm going to stay here in my happy baby at the wall. Find a comfortable place to rest your hands. Maybe allow the eyes to soften or close. And we'll spend about 2 minutes here. An invitation to find 3 more long, slow breaths here. When that's complete, do take your time to exit and find your way towards a seated position on the mat. Perhaps after that time, with knees bent, it would feel good to extend the legs. We'll spend a few moments between postures in some freestyle counterpose movement. The next place we're meeting is in half frog. So you might start by coming onto all fours and then start to lie down on the belly. If you have that folded blanket, you might take that over to the left-hand side of your mat. Starting in a gentle sort of sphinx pose, you'll bring your left knee up along the floor, maybe up to about hip height. You're welcome to stay up here on elbows with a bit of a gentle back bend, or you can widen the elbows and stack the hands to rest one cheek on. We're looking to feel some sensation on the inner left thigh or the left side of the groin. If you're not feeling much sensation there and you have that prop, you could place that beneath your inner left knee for a bit more height on that left side. Perhaps that prop is also some welcome padding under the inner knee and ankle. Take a moment to find what would work for you today, and we'll settle into some relative stillness for about 2 minutes here. Invitation to watch 3 more breaths as they go by on their own. When you're ready, moving slowly, start to inch that left leg back towards the midline. We'll pause for a moment between sides. If you've been in that sphinx variation of a back bend, you might lower down. You might want to shift the hips from side to side. Take a moment. And if you liked using that prop under the knee or ankle, you could move that over to the right-hand side of your mat. You might start on elbows or forearms and start to draw the right knee along the floor up towards the right hip. You might choose to place that right knee on top of some height or some padding. Take a moment to wiggle around and settle into what feels sustainable. And then we'll soften into that relative stillness for about 2 minutes here. You might watch 3 more breaths go by. As you're ready, do take some time to gradually bring that right leg back towards the midline. If you've been up on forearms, you could lower down and rock the hips from side to side. Take a moment. If there's another bit of movement or shape you'd like to feel, you could find that instead. Start to press into the hands and lift yourself up to an all fours position. We'll find next a twisted child's pose. You could take knees wider than the hips if that's comfortable. Hips go back towards your heels. And we're going to thread the needle with our right arm underneath our left elbow. So outer right shoulder comes to rest down onto the mat, and right temple touching down either on the mat or onto your left hand, or perhaps onto your prop like your folded blanket. Settling in. You could take 3 more breaths here. Slowly press into the left hand and unwind out of that twist. You're welcome to press up to all fours once again and stretch out the backs of the knees. In a moment, we'll find that child's pose variation on the other side. When you're ready, setting up your child's pose. This time the left hand will slide underneath the right arm. Left temple resting down on the mat, your hand or your prop. Observing 3 more cycles of breath here. Try to move slowly as you press into the right hand and bring yourself back up to all fours. As usual, any freestyle movements, if you could keep them gentle, are welcome here. The next place we'll meet is lying down on the back. We'll meet there with knees bent and feet planted. From this position, widen your feet towards the edges of your mat. Hands can rest comfortably wherever they land. And we'll find some gentle windshield wiper motions with the knees, both knees at the same time, fall over in one direction. They come up through center and fall to the other side. Move a couple times to each side, and next time your knees are over towards the right, we'll pause there. If you have a prop like a folded blanket, you could place that beneath your outer right knee to help close a gap between the leg and the floor. And you could stay in this position for 2 minutes. Or if it feels okay for the knees, you can start to inch your left heel closer towards your seat, top of that left foot resting down. And you might find a place where the left knee is about in line with the left hip. In this variation of half saddle, we're opening the front of the left hip crease and we're stretching into the top of the left thigh. If you're choosing this variation, you could stay here with the right knee falling out towards the side, or you might prefer to have the right knee tipped up towards the ceiling. We'll spend another minute or so here. You could take about 3 more slow breaths here. If you've been in that windshield wiper knees variation, you could start to rock your knees side to side once again. If you're with me in that half saddle, let the right knee tip out towards the right. And then very gradually that left foot moves a bit farther away from the left hip until you feel comfortable to lift that left knee. I definitely like to extend that left leg. You can find any other bit of movement or stretch that the body asks for after that posture. We'll all meet back in our windshield wiper knees, feet are wide. After a few times to each side, you can pause when both knees fall over towards the left. You're welcome to stay here for about 2 minutes. Or you can draw the right heel towards your seat, top of the right foot resting down. Right knee about in line with right hip. So feeling sensation at the front of the right thigh and right hip crease. You might pause there, or you might tip the left knee up towards the ceiling. Find something that feels reasonable and sustainable for another minute or so here. You could watch 3 more cycles of breath. As you're ready, slowly exiting the way you came in. You're welcome to find some counter pose movement. And we'll meet with knees bent and feet touching down on the mat. We'll extend the right leg long and draw the left knee towards the chest. We're heading for a reclined twist. We'll draw that left knee across the body as we roll onto the outer right hip. I'm going to adjust the height of my folded blanket to provide some support under that inner left knee. Feel like you're rolling the left shoulder back towards the floor. It's okay if it doesn't touch, but the intention is to have our chest open towards the ceiling. You're welcome to be here for our 2 minutes, or you can find a variation of cat pulling its tail. For that variation, you would start to bend your right leg and draw your right heel towards your seat. You'll reach your left hand down either towards the right foot, or you might make some contact and hold that right foot or ankle. Right hand can rest wherever it's comfortable. You're welcome to try something out and change your mind. We have about 90 seconds here. Taking 3 more breaths in this pose. And when you're ready, making your exit slow and mindful. If you're holding the right foot, try not to slingshot the leg as you release with some control. Rolling onto the back of the pelvis, bring that left foot with you, and you can set both feet down onto the mat. Pause for a moment between sides. If you like to prop under that bent knee, you can move that over to the left-hand side of your mat. As you're ready, heading to the other side, start by extending the left leg long and draw your right knee up towards the chest. Take that right knee across the body as you roll onto the outer left leg line. Maybe there's some support beneath your inner right knee. Roll the right shoulder back towards the floor and then soften. Intention is to have the chest open towards the ceiling. You're welcome to be here for about 2 minutes. Option for cat pulling its tail. Bend the left leg, heel towards your seat. Reach down with the right hand. Maybe the right hand and the left foot make contact. Maybe they don't. Settling in. Let's watch 3 more cycles of breath. When you're ready, start to make your exit slow and mindful. Rolling onto the back. We'll take a brief Shavasana, option for a reclined butterfly pose in place of your traditional corpse pose. Let's count down 10 cycles of breath. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the time you need to eventually make your way up towards a seated position. If you're interested in learning more about this philosophy, the place where yin yoga and Chinese medicine meet, I'll link a couple blog posts below where you can learn more. If you're watching this video close to the time it's been posted, I offer 5 times a year yin yoga for seasonal attunement workshops. And coming up on August 20th, 2024, we have yin yoga for seasonal attunement earth element workshop. This is a 2-hour online workshop. We'll spend the first half hour or so in lecture style discussion, discussing lifestyle and dietary shifts and adjustments you can make to feel your best and most aligned with the season at hand as we transition through the seasons. Then we'll have a nice 90-minute yin style yoga session designed specifically to access the meridians in the body that relate to the season we're entering. So more info about those workshops and links to register are in the description below. Thanks for joining me here today.